So last week in my recap, I kind of mentioned how I tend to have a very negative attitude when it comes to training, and it's something that I've always had since I started training, and it's one of those things that's motivated me. But I questioned if it was kind of holding me back in a sense. So one of the things that I honestly tried to do this week was have a more positive outlook on my training, and I think it made a difference. Now, let's be honest, it's not going to be a night and day difference. It's not going to all of a sudden allow me to lift a ton more weight. But it made a noticeable difference enough where I actually felt pretty good. I don't know if I was necessarily looking at it in a very positive fashion as much as I was just being more optimistic instead of, looking at my training for the week and being like, oh God, this is going to be awful. This is going to hurt. It's going to be heavy. Things are going to move slow. It was kind of more of a, it is what it is. Let's just go for it. And it's stuff that I can do. And things went pretty good for the most part. I mean, you saw my squats initially on my more volume type day, bench here moving really good, and things felt great overall. And this has been interesting because talking with Bryce, it's one of those things where we've just kind of been pushing the training before a deload just because things have been going well enough where it doesn't make sense to necessarily end it just yet, trying to milk everything out of this short kind of mesocycle, if you will. But that being said, even though this week went good, I was very optimistic. I was pretty positive about some of my training. At least my attitude was different. I still sent Bryce a message this week just saying, hey, you know what? Things are going pretty good, but they're starting to get heavy, and I have a feeling that things could go bad fairly soon. And I'm kind of familiar and comfortable enough with my training to know that it's not always going to go well. And even though we've been pushing things out some, I'd rather kind of cut it a little bit short then keep pushing it further and further and further to the point something breaks. Now, that breaking point doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It could be mental, or it could be physical. Who knows? But I'd rather kind of end things on a good note. So I've asked him to kind of cut things back a little bit and maybe plan in a deload sooner and not push this even further, even though, again, taking a look at my RPEs, it's probably well within my wheelhouse in order to do so. My heavy set of squats the second part of the week just went really well. My third benching session of the week also went really well, probably because we're only doing 4 sets of 2. And it all kind of led up into the accumulation of the week on Friday where I had some heavy stuff worked in, where I was finally planned for RPE type work. A lot of the work I've been doing has been percentage based so far. So what it called for was 2 top sets at an RPE 8.5 on deadlifts for 4. My first set actually was a bit more conservative and went with 250. So I just jumped 5 kg from last week, but that felt really good. So bumped it up another 5 on the second part of this set. And this moved at like an 8.5 like it was supposed to, so I was happy about that. For bench, I had a top set, or top triple, I should say, of 8.5 as well. And I went with 137.5, which was my opener last meet. And you're about to see here on the second rep, I actually banged the J cup, which traditionally would throw me off severely. But I was still able to get all 3 reps and finish at an 8.5, just like I was supposed to, so happy with that. And like I said, happy with the week overall, and looking forward to next week. Talk to you then.